Jim, there was a story out today in the Wall Street Journal talking about a study from the Alfred Sloan Foundation that concluded that the shale gas that's going to come out of the Barnett Shale area is going to be a multi-decade deal, that this is not going away soon. This is tons of growth, that this is huge.
And
for
Barnett's
these
not
gas
even a
companies.
good. Barnett's not even the good. You know, the best are Marcellus, Utica. I mean, in terms of being untapped. Here's why I think this. There's two reasons why this is important. One is that I don't think anyone thinks that the Sloan Foundation has an axe to grind.
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
Honest
is
broker,
do they have,
yeah.
let's kick the tires
Right.
of the study.
Right, and that's important because the New York Times did a series of pieces by one reporter of mine. I haven't read anything by it in a long time, saying that there was this, the whole thing's overstated. So this puts out that overstated. The second reason why this is important is that a lot of the utilities and the plastic companies have said, look, you know, this is finite, and the prices could jump again, and we're not going to get involved with this fuel because it's been so inconsistent. And this says no. I mean, there's a surf-fed of fuel, and there'll be a surf-fed fuel for 30 years, so don't use other fuels.
We know that a lot of the electric companies have been switching out of coal to nat gas because
Right.
we're hearing that from the coal companies that are
Right.
saying
We know
we're
coal's
kind
hurting.
of losing business here to nat gas.
But this is important. Also, by the way, it makes you want to own the pure nat gas stocks less. And we sold Southwestern, even though it's a great company, for Action Alerts Plus, because I had thought, Stephanie and I thought that natural gas could have some pep, but it's just every time it goes up, they unlock the spigot, and there's just more nat gas. And Utica in Ohio turned out to be largely nat gas, and it's like we don't even know what to do with it. There's like no pipes to take it out. And don't forget, if Keystone's approved, we won't, natural gas liquids, which people have been trying to make into LNG. It's like, well, maybe that takes another setback. But the important thing here is to recognize that this isn't. It's just not a study owned by the plastics companies, and it doesn't seem to study owned by the nat gas companies. It just seems to be independent.
So when you get into these nat gas names, you've really got to have a long-term horizon, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think a lot of people
Right.
get into them wanting this one-year return,
Right.
and it's really a long-term play.
Go to Carrizo, for instance, CRZO, on the show earlier this week, Chip Johnson, and what he's saying is, listen, you got to switch to oil. Mark Papp at EOG switched to oil. That's why that's gotten such a good valuation. Interestingly enough, the Cabot Oil and Gas has been great. It's a pure nat gas play. But that's because they have so much of it that people always think they'll get taken over.
Chesapeake?
Chesapeake is not good. I mean, Chesapeake has sold it. There was a deal they did for the Mississippi lime land, and people thought they were going to get far more than they did. So people are looking at the reserves there and wondering if they're not too high priced.
One thing I thought was interesting with this study was that they said that only about half of the properties in that Barnett Shale are going to actually produce any gas. So it's going to be a real question of who's got the right spot.
Well, look, in Ohio, for instance, there's a narrow band that's oil, and the rest is nat gas. And people thought the whole thing was oil. It's just a narrow band. It's to the west. And the eastern is all nat gas, and there's a lot of people sunk a lot of money in the east, and it's just not there.
Okay, so what's your favorite nat gas name?
I'm going to say that Lynn Energy.
Okay.
And Lynn, LNCO for 401k, and LINE for the other. They have a huge amount of nat gas, but they just bought Berry Petroleum, so they're about 50% oil, 50% nat gas, and that's the one to buy.
All right, there you go. Jim told you, if you're looking for a nat gas name, look at Lynn.